Whether you've heard of the Online Harms Act or not, stay tuned because it's going to be impacting you if the Trudeau government passes it. Before that, though, I have to ask you, please subscribe so he can stay in business. And it's not very profitable business, but we want to be able to present these issues. Gary Clewley is a noted criminal defense lawyer in New York and Ontario. He joins me right now because I asked you to come on and talk about this act, which obviously is to prevent online harms. And it's got this Digital Safety Commission to make sure that no one does anything wrong. Is that right?
No, it's a waste of time and money and effort. I mean, it's an election ploy to persuade people not to criticize the government in an election year. We don't need it.
Wait a second. What do you mean can't criticize? Because we have free speech and we have the criminal code which says now if somebody jumps up and says, I'm going to kill all so-and-sos, that's against the law? Of course. Criminal code?
It should be. What they're talking about is the language of the act is vilification and detestation. Well, there are a lot of people that, for good reason, detest this government, but the place to do that is at the election box. But if they want to voice that on voicemail or
the 3-minute interview,
the 3-minute interview, they ought not to be worried about some guy knocking on their door later on to tell them they were in violation of this crummy act.
Oh, but wait a second. The government, when they brought down this legislation, they said nobody who has anything to fear should be worried about this. In other words, if you lead a clean life, don't worry about these bureaucrats we're creating in Ottawa.
We don't want them butting in. They enjoy privilege of free speech inside the House. They say all kinds of nasty things about each other.
But it's privilege.
Us that's what's good for them isn't good for us. We put them there.
But what about, what can happen if there's a political debate on this show and someone says, that Trudeau is rotten. He's done a rotten job. Yeah. He's a despicable person. Here are the reasons why. And someone says, no, you can't say that. But would that be under the law then?
Oh, yeah, no question about it. Because they'd say, I feel compromised and unsafe. That nonsense, And then next thing you know,
hurt my feelings.
Some guy, you hurt my feelings. That you actually vilified me. Well, that's the point. That is what we get to do.
So what would happen then if this bill is passed and someone is on the show says that, and the recipient says, you hurt my feelings.
Right.
What's going to happen?
The guy's under house arrest, apparently.
Well, that's another feature of this. If you think something is going to happen in the future and you have cause for that, they say they can go to a judge or this bureaucrat and put you under house arrest.
I don't know where they're going to find a judge who's going to do that. I mean, but the mere fact that they have the ability to do so is going to have a chilling effect on speech, which is in fact the purpose of the act. It's not about actually curing people's opinions, making them think better, speak better. It's about dampening criticism of the current government in an election year.
But if it doesn't get passed,
and it shouldn't,
then we're free.
We're free.
We can have political discussion, and we can say that Gary Clewley is a rotten lawyer, and you can say that LeDrew is a rotten interviewer, and no one is going to go to jail for saying that.
And that's as it should be. It will be together but free.
Except for I would never say that. It wouldn't be the truth. 3 minutes. Thank you very much. This show provides independent analysis of the issues. We are not paid by the government. And as I am finding, so much business in Canada relies upon various governments that they don't want to sponsor or advertise on a show which may become controversial, which talks about liberty, freedoms, sometimes criticizes government. I've had guests on that support the government. But people are saying, you know what? We don't want to bite the hand that feeds us, i.e. government, which is why I hope you'll subscribe and contribute to keep this show on the air.